Clark County's Juvenile Justice Services Department has developed a new safe place called the Harbor. The Harbor wraps our teens with service providers who help them navigate through tough times in life. And best of all, the Harbor is free. No insurance or appointments are needed.
So you're at the entrance to the Harbor, which is a juvenile assessment center. This is open to the public, it's open to the community. Families do not have to have any insurance. All the services that families receive here at the Harbor are free.
Cesar Lemos is the executive director at the Harbor.
Right here.
He pilots the 11 partners who provide expertise and attention to struggling children and their families. Of course, Clark County's Department of Juvenile Justice Services performs the traditional duties of detention and probation, but they operate the Harbor as a sanctuary for compassion, not a place of incarceration. Cheryl Wright is the manager of clinical services at JJS.
The Harbor is a safe place for kids and families to come for resources. If kids are struggling either in their homes, at schools, within the community, the parents can reach out to us. They can come in free of charge. Their child can have an assessment. We will sit down with the parent and the child based on the results of that assessment and discuss the eligible services that we have that we could link the youth up to.
So this is the lobby to the Harbor, our juvenile assessment center. When families come in, there is a phone that they dial, and this phone goes straight back into our assessment center, and our representatives back there will then come out here to introduce themselves and then ask some questions of the family and then walk them back in.
The Harbor is not a detention center. A parent, teacher, coach, minister, or any concerned citizen can bring a kid in crisis here and receive an array of services immediately.
I can come and say, hey, there's a place that can help. There's a place, and it's the Harbor, and it's free to that child. It's free to that family.
Jack Martin is the director of Juvenile Justice Services. He brought the Harbor to Clark County after researching similar programs in Colorado. Mr. Martin is a devoted advocate of diverting kids before they enter the juvenile justice system involuntarily.
We don't want a parent to feel like they're being persecuted to come here. We want them to look and say, help. I need help. This child is, for whatever reason, he's doing this or that, or he or she. Can you help me get this child back on track? You know, back on track for success. Because that's really what we're all about. We're in the kid business. That's number one, solely our entire business is to try to put ourselves out of business.
Thanks. So families will enter through here.
Families meet an individual assessment team member who then escorts the families to the main area at the Harbor.
And then after that, we'll walk right into here, another door to come into the Harbor. So we'll walk through this hallway right here, and we'll usually take the family right into this room. We have an area that we call the kids' corner, so for families that come in with their extended family, other kids that maybe don't need services, but they need some place for them to go while we're meeting with them, they can sit here and play. So this is usually for kids from 3 to 9 years old.
To date, the Harbor has served nearly 600 kids and their families. There are many reasons and warning signs for children who could be headed for catastrophe.
Kids can be exhibiting signs of depression, which could be any changes in behavior. It could be isolation. It could be frequent crying. Kids could be suffering from anxiety issues, maybe especially related to trouble at school, anxiety around issues that are going on at school. It could be bullying. Again, any changes in behavior also might lead a parent to be concerned about substance abuse. Those are all things that we can sit down with the child and family and complete an assessment and identify appropriate services for that youth and that family.
There's a lot of situations that children are faced with every single day where they're just hungry. Three Square is one of our partners here. You should see, and I'll tell you, kids come here and the first thing they're doing is looking at free water and food and snacks, and we make sandwiches here. And you know, what kid do you know that can communicate when they're hungry? You know what I mean? So that, you know, if that's an obstacle in the home, that's something we want to help resolve.
The Harbor team wants success to start right here.
If we have a family that we're interviewing and we're working on trying to connect them to services, they can sit here and relax and just take it easy for a little while we're connecting them to services. We have different representatives from different agencies all stationed here, all under one house, which is very unique. So this is not just Juvenile Justice Services employees. There's only 3 from Juvenile Justice. We have representatives from Mobile Crisis stationed here. We have a mobile crisis team from the state. We also have from the state a adult mental health specialist. We have a psychiatric nurse stationed here as well, also allocated from the state. We have a representative from Division of Family Services stationed here as well.
And that's not all. A total of 11 agencies, including the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department and other local law enforcement agencies, are fans of the harbor. Bringing kids through the back door gives the officers the choice of offering them guidance and help from the harbor staff, possibly instead of a trip to youth detention or a courtroom.
So this is the parking lot where law enforcement parks their vehicles to bring kids into the harbor that meet our qualifications for a harbor. They'll come through this little hallway right here, back into the harbor. Law enforcement officer have a seat right here. Fill out our paperwork. The youth will have a seat, and soon after we'll engage that kid and provide them with water, provide the kid with a snack, let them know that we're here to help. That we're not here to punish them in any way. We're here to connect them to services to help them to keep out of contact with law enforcement.
So we really encourage families, if they have any questions, to call and ask us, or we can run through any scenarios with them. We can make an appointment if that's more convenient. We're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 8. But again, if a family is in the midst of a crisis and needs somewhere to go or someone to talk to, they can just come in right away. They don't need an appointment.